Today's agenda is an agenda for investment. Investment is important here at Wimbledon. It's important, and through investment and reinvestment in the championships, we do believe that Wimbledon's success has continued to grow and prosper. And in today's agenda, we're going to be talking about investment in 4 areas. We're talking about investment in the 2013 championships. We're going to be talking about investment in grass court tennis through the 3-week gap, investment in the future development of the grounds here at Wimbledon through our master plan, and lastly, investment in players through our 2013 prize money announcement. So we're going to start off at the beginning with the Championships 2013, and I'm going to hand to Richard, who's going to take us through that agenda item.
Thank you very much, Philip, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, some things are unchanged for this year's Championships. We have a ground capacity of 38,500 spectators as per last year. Gates will open at 10:30. Play begins on the outside courts at 11:30. Centre number 1 at 1 p.m. apart from the final stage, which will be 2 p.m. However, some things are new. We do have some new developments, particularly on the commercial front, with new TV contracts and continued investment in technology with a Wimbledon iPad app. We have new TV contracts in China. Now, throughout Asia, apart from China, we will continue to have Star Sports as our lead broadcaster. However, in China we have new arrangements. With terrestrial channel CCTV5, we anticipate up to 40 to 50 hours of live TV coverage. And we also have new regional TV agreements with a number of different broadcasters. And this new arrangement will quadruple the number of homes able to watch Wimbledon in China, up from 85 million homes to 250 million homes in 2013. On top of the broadcast deal, we also have a new agreement with Tencent, our official online portal in China, providing numerous pages in Mandarin as well as, of course, in English. Tencent is by far the biggest portal in China, and this huge increase in the audience reach demonstrates our commitment to increase the reach of the championships in this key market. Our investment in new technology continues with the new iPad app available from the middle of June. Our commercial team continues to focus on extending the Wimbledon experience to as many people as possible. The iPad app blends in what you might call the bread and butter content, such as scores, news, video, with spectacular 360-degree photography. And this is an example of the home page with map control points. You can choose how to enter the map. As an example, you can link to a player so you get an alert when that player goes on court to start his match, or you can visit the grounds through a wide variety of ways, through linking on to some of the icons on the home page. It's basically designed to be the next best thing to being here at the Championships. Now, the really big news for some of you is that we renewed our coffee deal with Thank you, Neil. I have the expected response there. Very important news indeed. No, but seriously, we are very pleased indeed to announce that Lavazza have extended our official supplier relationship to 2016, so we have great coffee available on the grounds. The 3-week gap. We announced last July that we would be staging the championships 1 week later from 2015, and that was an announcement that was very, very well received indeed in many quarters, if not most quarters. Moving the date gives us the extra week between Roland Garros and Wimbledon. Not only a better balance to the global tennis calendar, but also a longer build-up to such an enormous event as the championships. Crucially, it gives more time for the top players to rest and recuperate between Grand Slam events, plus more time on a softer surface, which of course helps injury prevention. Together with the LTA and the ATP and WTA, we've been working to see what tournaments can be slotted into those 3 weeks. And we're delighted that Stuttgart has been given the sanction to stage an ATP Tour event in week 1 from 2015. I was in Stuttgart just a couple of weeks ago at a press conference, and I know just how much interest there is in grass court tennis in Germany. It is a very exciting development. The Mercedes Cup in Stuttgart is going to be a very strong addition to the grass court tennis calendar. That concludes what I have to say. Hand back to Philip.
Thank you very much, Richard. So let's keep going, shall we? Wimbledon Master Plan is the next agenda item. This is all about investment in the future development of our grounds here at Wimbledon. And some of you may be asking the question, why do we need a master plan? Well, we had a master plan. You're not expected to read this slide, but this was the master plan that was conceived back in 1993 under the leadership of the then chairman John Curry. And this, this master plan has guided the actions of the club over an 18-year period, and it brought about the development of many of the buildings that you see here at Wimbledon today. The Broadcast Centre, the number 1 court, the Millennium Building, the Museum Building, the number 2 court, excuse me, the roof on Centre Court, and then finally the opening of number 3 court, which happened in the at the beginning of the 2011 championships by His Royal Highness the Duke of Kent, and that really brought about the end of the long-term plan as it was known. And I think today, we would think it's fair to say that today Wimbledon is the finest stage in world tennis, but we cannot afford to stand still. We need to look to the future, and we do know that some of our competitors are busy with their own Grand Slams or tour events. We know that Roland Garros are looking to put a roof on the Philippe Chatrier court in Paris. We know the Australian Open are very busy. They opened a new national training centre at the beginning of this year, and indeed by next year we'll have a further roof, this time on the Margaret Court Arena. And in the United States there are plans to consider redeveloping the Louis Armstrong grandstand stadiums, and further consideration for putting a roof on one of their courts. The point here being there is a lot of activity going on amongst other Grand Slam tournaments and indeed other tournaments on the men's and women's tour. So it was against this background that we decided in the autumn of 2011, pretty much at the end of our previous long-term plan, to create a new project. The project team has grown over time. It includes members of our committee, our executives, and a growing number of external advisors, led by the master planning firm Grimshaw. This project team has been working now for around 15 months, really getting to grips with the current and the future needs of every user group that comes here to Wimbledon, whether it's the officials or the ball boys or the media, the members, the players, the fans. And we've now got to the stage where we want to publish our master plan vision. We use the word vision carefully here. This is a vision. It's important to say that we've not designed anything yet, and what you'll see in the coming minutes are images of what Wimbledon might look like in 15 to 20 years' time. We are starting now a consultation process. In fact, we started it last night with a meeting with our members. There will be further consultation in the coming days with our neighbours and with our staff, and then the wide dissemination of the prospectus that I mentioned earlier will also be part of that communication plan. The consultation will run right through Wimbledon. It starts now, will run up to, including and post championships, and by this autumn we expect to be in a position where we've received input and feedback from a wide group of stakeholders and be in a position to ask the question, to what extent does this vision need to be changed or modified, taking into account that feedback. What are we trying to achieve with this master plan? Well, some of you may know, some of you may not know, but the first bullet point on this slide, maintaining the championships as the premier tennis tournament in the world and on grass. This is part of our mission statement. We do take it very seriously, and it needs to be top of the objectives in terms of what we're trying to achieve. And then the second point really is an important one. The site here is it's a constrained site, it is relatively built on, but we recognise that needs change over time, and there are increasing demands on us to find additional space for this group or that group of users, and so this plan calls for us to find additional space, and indeed also to improve the experience for everybody coming here to Wimbledon, whether it's yourselves, the players, the members, our neighbours, our fans, etc. The final point on key objectives is that the last long-term plan talked about, for those of you with long memories you may remember it talked about tennis in an English garden, and I think if we look today, 20 years on, did we deliver on that objective? I think we did a pretty good job. I think today the grounds here at Wimbledon are beautiful, but I think that our project team believe that there's more to do. We think that the grounds here could be even more beautiful in the years ahead. So one of our other objectives is to try and make Wimbledon, as I say, just more beautiful than ever. What we're not trying to do, we're not trying to turn Wimbledon into a tournament with nighttime play. We remain an outdoor event, and roofs over our stadia will be used primarily in the event of wet weather. And two other points here, we're absolutely not looking to, through this master plan, to significantly increase the ground capacity here at Wimbledon or intensify the use. For us, the experience of everybody when they come to the championships is really important, and we want to make sure that the experience for people coming here is even better than it is today. So with those words of introduction, I'm going to stop talking and let you enjoy a short film about our master plan.
Wimbledon is the oldest and the preeminent Grand Slam event, and the only Grand Slam still played on the game's original surface, grass. Since moving to Church Road in 1922, the championships have become a fundamental part of British culture and world sports. Renowned for its history and tradition, Wimbledon has also been a leader in bringing about change and innovation to the sport. The previous long-term plan, conceived in 1993, saw the introduction of many new facilities. Most notably, the much-acclaimed retractable roof on Centre Court opened in 2009. The club now needs to look to the future and the new challenges ahead to retain its preeminent position in world tennis. Standing still is not an option. The master plan will conserve Wimbledon's unique and special heritage. It will draw on the character and assets of the existing site, whilst simultaneously resolving some of the challenges that this beautiful but constrained site poses. A strategic reconfiguration of the grounds seeks to optimise the full extent of the site. A new landscape framework will enhance and define the public areas and improve the overall distribution of facilities to fully optimise the grounds. Enhanced approaches are created with improved setting of stadia, main buildings and entrances to define a series of connected public spaces promoting easy and pleasant promenading within the grounds. The master plan presents an opportunity to reinforce the spirit of tennis in an English garden. A series of distinctive character areas are defined, which connect and choreograph the various spaces to enrich the visitor's experience. Themed gardens will form a unique narrative. Extensive planting will continue Wimbledon's positive contribution to the local neighbourhood, with an enhanced relationship to Church Road and the historic setting of Wimbledon Park. This is a beautiful part of the grounds that benefits from dramatic topography and a unique landscape setting. It provides the main approach to Wimbledon when arriving from Southfields. The visitor's approach, however, lacks impact, and there are conflicts between vehicular and pedestrian routes. Existing players and operational facilities buildings are at the end of their serviceable life and need upgrading. The new landscaping transforms the entrance and provides a major destination to the north of the grounds, with the stunning London skyline as a backdrop. Number 1 court will be remodelled to provide a new fixed and retractable roof. It will gain additional hospitality areas, with spectacular views over the gently cascading terraced courts beyond. The new retractable roof will allow Number 1 court spectators to join those on centre court in watching a full day's play, irrespective of the weather. Defined by buildings around the full perimeter, this part of the grounds has a distinctive feel all of its own. The 4 gently terraced championship courts, complemented by 2 character courts, provide a vibrant atmosphere. However, this number of courts detracts from the area's possibilities, with constrained circulation and difficult wayfinding. The proposals seek to improve movement flows, both on the main circulation spine of St Mary's and also the interface around Number 1 court in Church Road. Strategically located between Centre Court and Number 1 court, new basement accommodation is proposed to facilitate the smooth running of the championships and the ever-increasing requirements for quality and service. The plaza provides a vibrant and much-needed additional dwell space, supported by new facilities with external summer dining and views over the grounds. These proposals retain the unique feel and quality of this special part of the grounds. The creation of additional space significantly enhances the experience of players and spectators alike. This area is the most characterful and historic part of the grounds, and benefits from a real sense of intimacy which is unique to Wimbledon. There are, however, a number of significant shortcomings that the Master Plan will address. Circulation between courts is highly constrained and congested. Queuing areas are required in order to provide unreserved access to Number 2 and Number 3 courts. The close proximity of Number 2 court and Court 12 creates conflicts and restricts the use of temporary stands. Isolated at the southern tip of the grounds, this area presents some unique challenges, with dispersed and inefficient facilities buildings. The proposals to this area will significantly enhance the quality of experience for all. New generous circulation and additional seating will transform movement and access. The provision of permanent seating around the repositioned Court 12 will add a further character court to the grounds, benefiting from dramatic views towards Centre Court. The new southern entrance will present a spectacular approach, landscaped to reinforce and enhance the image of playing tennis in an English garden. The Somerset Road site is key to the activities of both the championships and the club. The existing buildings are at the end of their serviceable life. Outside of the championships, the parts of the site not covered by the indoor courts are underutilised. There is an opportunity to use this site more effectively and provide an integrated world-class facility more in keeping with Wimbledon's stature. The Somerset Road site will be transformed with new high-quality buildings and landscaping. The new indoor courts are sensitively integrated, using the topography to reduce the overall massing and green roofs to enhance the landscape and open character of the site. The benefits of moving the clay courts are twofold. It frees up the space and eases congestion in the southern area, while also improving the use and appearance of the Somerset Road site in a manner that is sympathetic to the neighbourhood. The Master Plan will deliver many advances and will continue the evolutionary process of transforming the grounds that is part of the ethos of the club. The proposals will be brought forward in a phased and incremental manner. Wimbledon is unique. The traditions are palpable. The vision reflects and reinforces the long history of the championships, while further enhancing its position as the preeminent Grand Slam event.
I just wanted, before we leave this agenda item, just to say a couple of words, if I may, about number one court as follows. Firstly, in terms of timescales, this is a complicated project, just as Centre Court was. It does involve the building of a new fixed and a new retractable roof. It also involves significant remodelling of the stadium itself. So in terms of the design work for getting this right, we think the design work will take at least 2 years to complete. There then follows a period of building. Our experience with the Centre Court roof and the rebuilding of the east side of Centre Court was that it took us 3 years to get through that project. So in terms of a realistic expectation for having this project completed, we are expecting it to be done by the 2019 championships. The other thing I wanted just to say at this stage, and we're happy to take questions on any aspect of this plan later, is that in terms of the capacity of the court, we are understandably, I think, taking a look at whether it's possible to increase the capacity of number one court in a modest way. We would like to take this opportunity to see if we can get more fans into the stadium court to watch the tennis, but always recognising that centre court remains the jewel in the crown here at Wimbledon, 15,000 seated capacity, and number one court is currently 11,500. So we are going to take a look to see, just to repeat, if we can modestly increase the capacity there on that court. Before we leave the visions of number one court and indeed the master plan as a whole, I just wanted to remind you all what I said earlier. We are distributing the prospectus. You'll receive one shortly. There is further information available from today on wimbledon.com. The consultation process will carry on now for a number of months, right through the championships. The championships themselves are an important part of that consultation process, and there'll be further meetings and presentations in the autumn at which we will present a so-called aligned vision, a vision that has taken account of the feedback and comments that we've received. So let me move us on to the final item on our agenda, which is prize money. And what I wanted to say here, what we wanted to say here, is that there are two themes behind our prize money announcement this year. Firstly, to say we understand and appreciate the difficulties of for all players in reaching the top echelons of our sport, and indeed staying there when they get there. The road to the top is a long road, and indeed the road is getting longer, and it's a very expensive road on which to travel. And last year, if you recall, we focused our prize money increases on the players who we felt needed it most, those players being the players who lose in the early round of our championships or lose in qualifying. We think there's more to be done in this regard, and today's announcement builds on the work that we did last year. That's the first point. The second point to make is that in terms of being internationally competitive, players at Wimbledon are always have been and always will be top of our agenda. The prize money landscape has changed significantly over the last year, and today represents an opportunity for us to express to all the players how much they are appreciated by Wimbledon. And that's what we're going to do. So let me get into some of the detail. So building on our focus from last year, there will this year be a step change in the prize money awarded to players who lose in rounds 1, 2 and 3 here at Wimbledon. That increase in prize money will be between 62 and 64%, depending upon the round in which the players lose. Staying with our theme from last year and the importance of looking after this large group of players, we're also increasing the prize money at qualifying by 41%. That's 41% whether it's round 1 or round 2 or round 3. Expressing our appreciation to all of the players means we also need to take care of the last 16, the other players in the draw that we haven't covered already. And there is an average increase for this group of players of 40%. And this year's singles champions will receive a 39% increase in prize money. The final group I'd like to mention here are the men's and ladies doubles. Many of these players fall into the same category as the first two groups, players who are finding their way on the tour, meeting all of those expenses that they need to, and for that group of players there is a 22% increase in prize money. So very significant increases in prize money all round. Being the mathematician that I am, I can't resist on these occasions sharing with you at least one graph. I think last year there was more than one, but this year I've restricted myself to one. And this graph tries to show what has happened to Wimbledon prize money over the last 2 years. So the white part of the graph shows for each round of the tournament where we were in terms of prize money in 2011. The green part of the graph shows the increment or the increase that we made in 2012, and you can see there that last year we made most of the increase for the players losing in qualifying rounds 1, 2 and 3. And what you see in 2013 is that we've built on that in terms of our focus with the purple bar at the top of the graph. So over the 2-year period concerned, prize money for players losing in qualifying rounds 1, 2 and 3, it peaks at a little over double for those players losing in the first round of the championships, but as you can see the increases are pretty spectacular for all of those groups of players. And that group of those first 4 bars represent the vast majority of the players playing here at Wimbledon. The increases, however, on the right hand side of this graph are also not small, and as you can see over a 2-year period we are talking about an overall increase of around 50%. What does it mean for our singles championship, singles winners? Those of you that have already done the maths, a 39% increase turns into a £450,000 increase, turns into a £1.6 million winners prize for both the men and the women. And in terms of total prize money, our overall percentage prize money increase this year is 40%. 40% is £6.5 million increase on last year. At £6.5 million, this is the largest single increase ever in tennis history. And the total prize money of £22.6 million is also the largest prize money ever in tennis. So in summary, we mentioned at the beginning of this presentation that we are investing in Wimbledon, and the investment, I hope you'd agree, is coming in lots of different ways. We are investing in grass court tennis through the 3-week gap. We are investing in the grounds here at Wimbledon through our master plan, and we are investing in the players who come to Wimbledon through our prize money announcement in 2013.